Good evening, Winthrop. Welcome to the election night coverage of the Town of Winthrop local election. My name is Eric Gaynor, and I will be your host tonight. And I'm very excited to be here to provide you with results of our election as they come in. This is my first time in this chair. I've always been sort of the numbers person, but tonight I'm going to try and cover the election as results come in. But I am grateful to say, even though he may be remote, my friend John Massero is here, and he will be co-hosting along with me. There's John. John is going to be on online, virtually. We're doing a Teams meeting to get John here because John is in Stoneham tonight. John, I'll let you go ahead and explain why you couldn't be here in the studio with me tonight, because it's a very exciting day in Stoneham.
Thank you, Eric, and I'm glad to be a part of the Winthrop's election results show again. We've started this 4 years ago, you and I, Eric, and it's great to come back every 2 years and participate. And you're going to do a great job in that chair, Eric. So I'm not worried about that at all. Tonight, the reason why I'm still here at Stoneham and you're seeing my office where I'm at is because at 8 o'clock tonight, we're going to find out if Stoneham will be building a brand new Stoneham High School. And that may sound familiar to our Winthrop residents, as 8 years ago to this very night is when Winthrop approved such a project. And so we're pretty excited over here. We're very hopeful, but we don't know until the numbers come in, but we're hopeful that that will happen. So, but just so that you're aware, we do still have, the polls are still open until 8 o'clock in Winthrop, correct, Eric?
That's right. The polls do not close until 8 o'clock tonight. So if you're watching right now, you still have time to get down to the polling places if you haven't voted already. All right, you still have a good 20 minutes to hop in the car, drive down, get your votes in, because you can still vote. This is like your last call, if you will. John, do you want to give the locations?
Yes, for last call, you can go to precincts 1, 2, and 5 are at the old middle school. I know there was a change today. A lot of people were confused because we used to be at the new middle school, high school with a lot of polling. But that changed. It went back to where we used to go to. So precincts 1, 2, and 5 are at the old middle school. Precincts 3 and 6 are at the Robert DeLeo Senior Center. And precinct 4 is at the O'Connell Hall. So you still have time. I'd get down there as soon, if you have not yet voted, please do so. It's important. And I know that the candidates would appreciate that, which transitions us into thanking all of our candidates for running. It's not an easy job to put yourself out there tonight. And I'd like to just say, before we find out the results, thank you to each and every candidate for wanting to serve for the town of Winthrop.
Well said, John. It is important, and I know people do appreciate when people make the effort to go ahead and vote. It's really exercising your democratic right. So that'd be fantastic. If you're just tuning in right now and you're like, oh my gosh, I forgot, today's election day. You still have some time, so we encourage you to make your way down to the voting locations. Now, again, precinct 4, O'Connell Hall, that's my precinct. That's off of Golden Drive. All right, that's sort of the senior housing area. And like you said, the old middle school, so for those of you who might not be familiar, that's across from CVS on Pauline Street, okay, right in that gym, right next to the Larson rink. So when we say the old middle school, sometimes people get confused. That's the location, again, if you're driving down Pauline Street, it's across from CVS. And I think everybody knows where the senior center is. That's on Harvard Street, behind the marketplace. So here's your last chance now to go ahead and vote if you haven't done so. John, there's been some questions, speaking of about voting, about the state Senate primary. I had some people today ask me, when they went to vote, they didn't see Anthony D'Ambrosio or Lydia Edwards on the ballot. Could you explain
Correct. That? Yes, happy to do so. That is a separate election, and that election is not happening until December 14th. that will happen in this particular area that they're representing. So I know we've seen a lot of signs and we've seen a lot of campaigning going on over the past 2 months. I think even before this election started out, that process has been going on. But that is a special election. It will happen on December 14th, and you will go to, I believe, to the same locations that you went to today to vote for that particular office.
Yep. Thanks for explaining that, John. For anyone who likes local politics, this has been quite a year, if you think about it. You had a special election for state representative earlier in the year. Then you had a pretty spirited campaign going on for the Winthrop election this year. And now we have another special election next month, like you said, Tuesday, December 14th. And that is to fill the vacancy in the state Senate. And there are two candidates that are going to be on the ballot for the Democratic primary. Again, Tuesday, December 14th. That's Anthony D'Ambrosio, and it's also Lydia Edwards that are vying for that seat that was vacated by our Senator, Joseph Boncory. So you have that to look forward to after this election is over. Another thing that we might be voting on too in the near future, John, is the Northeast Vocational School. Could you explain what's going on right now with that? Because I don't think people, myself included, really understand how that vote is going to take place.
Sure, Eric. And you're hearing me okay? Because you're coming in a little choppy for me, but as long as you're hearing me okay, we're good.
I'm hearing you okay, yeah.
So the Northeast Vocational is an interesting, it's a unique situation because as in Winthrop, when Winthrop decided to wanting to build a new high school and got the MSBA approval, they just needed the town of Winthrop to approve that. At the Northeast Vocational School, they need all of the 12 communities to give it an approval of the school so that they can build that. And that project is up just like the Stoneham project is up. And so Stoneham is also a part of the Northeast Vocational. So each district is being asked, their councils or their select boards or town meetings, however they have the area within their form of government, is being asked if they will support this. Some communities have said that they're going to bring it out to their community to vote on it. Some communities have supported it without having to go to a vote on it. However, if one town says no to it, then they would put there would be a ballot question for all 12 communities. And in those 12 communities, all you will need is a majority plus one to have that project be successful.
And that's for the
that's
aggregate.
Something that I'm sure the community is going to hear as we go down the road.
Right. So when you say a vote of the 12 communities, it's the combination of the 12. So it's not like
it's the combination of the 12 communities. In the individual communities, an individual community can approve it for like an override. So, for example, Winthrop could say, we're going to do an override for this project, and then the community could say yes or no on that. And if they said yes for an override, then we know how it would be paid if we were going to do the project. However, if all 12 communities come in and they do it this way and they leave it out there, then if it's approved through the majority of it all, of those 12 communities, Winthrop is still responsible for that dollar. So that's why it's a little tricky there, but I'm a strong advocate for the vocational program. I mean, they're part of our programs, our schools. These kids go to the vocational program because that is a trade that they want to learn that we don't provide in our current schools. That's why we have them. So, I'm all for 21st century type of school buildings. I want to see this progress, and I think the vocational deserves it just as much as the local communities.
Okay. Well, thank you for kind of explaining the whole process there because, I've been seeing some news stories from some of the other communities in the vocational school district. And, I just wasn't really sure exactly how this is going to come about. I just know that there is a proposal to build a brand new school. I also know that there's a waiting list, and you can correct me if I'm wrong on that, for students because it's a very popular school, and there's not enough room to accommodate the number of applicants that they have. So
right.
I think
they're going from a 1,200 student population with the new building would be up to 1,600 students. and so that they could accommodate that. And I think that's important on their end as well. So.
Okay, good. So, stay tuned. There'll be more information as far as that goes in the near future, I'm sure. A couple things, though, before we get into our results. Again, just to kind of let you know what's happening tonight. We have volunteers and some of our WCAT producers helping out put this program on tonight. And they are going to be down at each one of those polling locations, and they're going to be collecting results as they are posted. Now, I've done that before. Just give you a little idea of the process. At the end, once all of the votes have been entered, all of the ballots have been put into the machine, there is like I don't know if it's the correct term, is a ticker tape, but it's kind of what it is. It kind of prints out, and you see the results for each precinct. And as those results are posted, we will be announcing them live tonight. Now, the polls close at 8 o'clock, and again, it just depends on how long it takes for everything, for all those ballots to be entered into the machines, and for those machines to have the printout, and then that gets posted, and then we copy those results down, and we'll share them with you as we get them. So I just want to let you know that's the agenda for this evening's program, and like I said, we're going to have those results for you as soon as they come in. But in the meantime, I did want to just mention a few things. One is I wanted to commend the Winthrop Parks and Recreation Department for putting on a terrific fall fair this year. It was a few weeks ago, and I just really need to mention that the job that they did putting on a tremendous event. They do that every year. It's not new. But it really stood out to me this year because we went to the fall fair. It was on a Saturday. The next day, we went up to Topsfield Fair. And oh my gosh, it took us forever to get to Topsfield Fair. I don't know, John, you probably know what it's like driving there. You know, you're in standstill traffic. By the time you get there, it's wall-to-wall people, you know, and everything's really expensive, and you're waiting in really long lines, you know, for the kids, you know, to go on a ride. And at the end of that experience, I was like, oh boy, you know, I really appreciate what we have here in Winthrop, you know, right down at Ingleside Park. The day before, we had so much fun, you know, things weren't that expensive. You had, you know, plenty of inflatable rides. There was a band. There was somebody doing circus acts, like a trapeze artist. It was amazing, and it was right here in Winthrop. And I just want to say, you know, thank you for putting on that type of event. As a parent, our daughter loved it, and the kids were just having a blast. And it was just so nice to have that right here in Winthrop. So I just wanted to kind of give a shout out to Parks and Rec for doing a good job with that event, but all of the programs and events that you run throughout the course of the year are really just top notch. So thank you for doing that. And also wanted to commend the PTOs. They ran a very successful trunk or treat event the Friday before Halloween, so last Friday, and it was excellent. I wouldn't have changed a thing. It was the first time they did that. I hope they make that an annual event. It was a great fundraiser for the PTOs of the Cummings School in Gorman Fort Banks. They ran it very well. A couple people complained about it being limited to just the students from those schools. And I would say that it makes sense that if the PTOs are running that event, that it would be limited to the students from those schools. My wife participated in that event. I think she counted around 700 or so kids. Or, I mean, estimated. She didn't actually count the numbers of kids coming. So that's a lot of kids. And so I don't think you want to have a whole lot more than that, because it just becomes overwhelming. It becomes overwhelming for the businesses and the organizations that are participating. So I thought it was really well done. You know, I mean, that's a lot of kids, and I think having that limit actually made it a little bit more manageable. So anyways, I just wanted to make sure that the PTOs understand how much we appreciate the work that you did putting that event on. Okay, it was really cool and nicely done.
So you know, Eric, what you're saying is what a great community we have, and it's so true. I mean, all of the great stuff that you see for Parks and Recs. I mean, we don't have to leave the island.
That's a good way of putting it.
To have some of the great events that we have here. You're right. I also want to give a shout out to the PTOs who put together a candidates night for the school committee. For those folks who were able to see that as well, that was very helpful. So I'm going to ask if we can transition into some of these races that we have going on, so people know how many people are going to move in,
Yes.
how many people are selected and things like that. So if you want to
Yep.
tell me which one.
Let's talk about,
line,
since we're talking about the schools, we've had 7 candidates running for the school committee this year. And John, maybe you could explain too, because again, there was maybe a little confusion because there's 3 spots available
Correct.
but people might have been confused because there's a 4th vacancy, right? Because you had an opening, but I think that is going to be filled after the election. So you're only so you're electing 3 today, and then after the election, there's going to be an appointment.
Right. So tonight, so the way the charter works is that every 2 years, 3 members of the school committee are elected, and the town council president who serves on the school committee is elected. So there's your 4. And then there are 3 people that come up, different 3 people come up the following 2 years. So it's a 4-year term when you're on the school committee. And so what has happened is that Mr. Capobianco resigned, and his term still has 2 years left after this election. So, but the way the charter works is that it's not like, now that he's left, we can just take in the top 4. That's not how it works. You'll get the top 3 will be elected tonight. And then what will happen is the town council and the school committee will come together and they will select a candidate to go in and fill that spot for the remaining of the term. And how you have to do that is, if you want to be that candidate, you will have to apply to the town council and school committee to be considered for that position.
Great.
So that's a little different than being elected on it.
Do you want to run through the ballot and start with the school committee? Again, we have 7 candidates on the ballot for school committee, and we will be electing 3.
And I think this is the largest school committee race we have seen in many years. I'm pretty confident that this is probably it's one of the largest that I've seen since I've lived in Winthrop, and it's been 30 years next year, so that I've seen. But so we have Julie Barry, who is currently an incumbent on the school committee, and Julie Barry was one of those folks that was appointed to fill out the remainder of a term, and then she has run for re-election. Ellen Galoris, she is a candidate. Celeste Heinonen is a candidate. Suzanne Leonard, Brianna Messina-Malloy, Lainey Petrie, Jennifer Powell. I believe I got all 7 of them. And Jennifer Powell is seeking re-election.
Yeah.
So there are two people that are on there that are seeking re-election. The other folks are seeking. So the top 3 candidates will then be elected to a 4-year term. And that's important for folks to be aware of.
All right, excellent, John. Yeah, we'll be keeping a close eye on that race tonight. But do you want to run through the rest of the ballot as well?
Sure. I think we have an interesting and exciting council president race, because you have 2 candidates. The current council president, Phil Boncory, who is seeking re-election to the council president, along with Jim Lettieri, who is currently on the council, who is seeking for the council president's role. Both candidates have served on the town council. This is an interesting factoid. Both candidates have served since the town council's inception back in 2006. So they are currently completing 16 years on the council. So it's obvious that they both have the experience, they understand what's happening. And they were also part of the people that was on that charter commission before we transitioned into the charter. So they have served for quite a while. So it'll be interesting to see tonight how that race turns out.
Yeah, John, I'm just going to interrupt you on that. Just to mention, you talked about both of their years of service in town government. I'd also like to add, too, that both gentlemen have served this community in a number of other ways, and whether it be youth sports or other organizations and community causes. Regardless of the outcome of tonight, nobody can certainly question their dedication and commitment to this town and all that they have given to Winthrop and making it a better place to live and to do business and to raise a family. So to both Mr. Boncori, to Mr. Leteri, thank you for all that you've done, and best of luck to you both. And this is, it'll be a very interesting race as far as at the top of the ballot here, the town council president. So again, we will be reporting those results as they come in. But we also have other races too, right? It's not just about the town council president and school committee. John, I'll let you go through the rest of that ballot.
Right, and just a reminder that the council president's is a 2-year term. And that's so that all of these other terms that are 4-year terms, it kind of fits in the mold, it works perfect. We have a counselor at large, 4-year position. Robert DeMarco is running unopposed, and that's a 4-year term. We have a precinct 1, 4 years. Richard Fusillo is running unopposed. And precinct 3, we actually have a race for precinct 3. And those candidates are Hannah Belcher, Jeremy Scott Mahoney Wright, and Amy Pascara. So that we'll be keeping an eye on that tonight. See who that's one person for 4 years.
Okay. Yeah, like you're saying, the ones that are contested, obviously we're going to try to provide those results first. For those candidates who are unopposed, we will announce those vote totals towards the end of the program, but we're really going to try to provide you with, any of the races where you have a contest with the results. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Right, and precinct 5 is Mr. Joseph Aiello, so he is running unopposed. And then we have the race for the library trustees. Mm-hmm. We have 5 candidates, and the top 3 will be elected. We have Laura Barrett, and we have Laura Barrett, Maria Matarazzo, Betty Peabody, Gillian Texera, and Alyssa True. So they are candidates for the library trustee, the top 3, and that is also a 4-year term. I believe we have Peter Gill is running unopposed for the 4-year term for Housing Authority.
Right.
And that, I believe, is all of our people that are running tonight.
Yes, thank you, John, for giving us a recap. And just on the ballot, you might see Laura Barrett as Laura Marie Christopher, since she's now married. And so I think that might be how her name is appearing on our town ballot. So that's.
And Eric, I just got a thing that said from Boston that the polls closed. So I would imagine polls have now officially closed, probably in Winthrop.
It is 8:00. Yes. So the polls are closing in Winthrop. So for those of you who are just tuning in, welcome to WCAT's election night coverage. I am your host, Eric Gaynor. I am joined remotely by my friend John Massaro, the superintendent of schools in Stoneham, formerly the superintendent of schools for Winthrop. John couldn't be here tonight because there's a big vote in Stoneham today for a new school. How long ago was it when we voted, John, in Winthrop to build the new middle and high school?
8 years ago this very night.
Really?
8 years ago this very night.
I don't know. Does it seem like 8 years ago? It doesn't seem like that long ago, but I guess it was.
It was 2013, and then the building was completed, of course, in 2016. So, and if Stoneham approves tonight, this building will be completed in 2024.
Well, I just need to say this. Every time I go to the school or even drive by it, I get a sense of pride. It's a gorgeous building. Not only the school, but also the new Miller Field, the tennis courts. I don't know. I just love it. I love seeing it. And I'm sure the students, the faculty, everybody gets kind of just a nice sort of boost to be in such a wonderful building. It really is just, it's awesome. So I'm so glad we have that. And I'm sure even people who might not have voted 8 years ago for it probably still look at it and kind of appreciate the fact that we have such a beautiful building right here in our town. It shows our commitment to education.
Before we move on any further, I just want to give a shout out to my colleague, Lisa Howard, as superintendent. I know how difficult especially these last 2 years have been to run a school system in what we would call one of the most difficult times in the history. And, you know, Lisa has done a wonderful job of keeping the community together and working really hard. And I think Winthrop is very fortunate to have her. And I just wanted to give a shout out to Lisa and thank her for the great work that she's done, as well as all our teachers and all our community members who work for the school systems. And you know, it hasn't been easy, but thank God we have them. And
Absolutely.
Winthrop is a great community.
Well said, John. Thank you for mentioning that. Speaking of the schools, before we get to the results, we're still waiting. The polls have just closed, so we're waiting on those results. I wanted to mention, if you have, especially if you're a parent with kids, the Winthrop High School is going to be doing the SpongeBob musical in a couple weeks. And we were just talking about the beautiful new middle high school building. One of the, I think, best features of it is the auditorium. It is just spectacular. If you haven't had a chance, this is a great opportunity to bring the kids. Tickets for kids, it's $10 to see live theater. And I'll tell you something, when you take kids to see a show, especially put on at the high school level, they love watching other kids up on stage. And I don't know what kid doesn't love SpongeBob SquarePants. So the dates, I'm just going to run through those really fast for you. It's going to be Saturday, November 13th, 2 shows, 2 o'clock and 7 o'clock. And then Sunday, November 14th at 2 o'clock. Get your tickets now. You can go to winthropdrama.com. You can order your tickets. I'm telling you, you can't beat it. The shows are just amazing. We go every year. What they're able to put on is just phenomenal. And I'll say this, as far as Winthrop's reputation in the state, we're considered one of the best drama programs going. Wouldn't you say, John? Year in, year out, Winthrop's always there right up at the top. So what a great sort of treasure we have here in town.
What are the dates of that show, Eric?
November 13th, 2 o'clock and 7 o'clock, that's a Saturday, and then on Sunday, November 14th at 2. And I think it's great that they're doing 2 matinee performances. Makes sense, right? So they're really trying to make it accessible for you to bring kids. They want to see families there. You know, just I'm telling you, for $10 to bring your kid for a couple hours of, you know, live theater, it's a deal you can't beat. So just wanted to.
I agree with you, and it'll be a great show.
Right. So again, polls just closed, so I'm just kind of throwing in little announcements here while we're waiting for the results. We should have them very shortly. I wanted to say very quickly, you know, we just wrapped up a wonderful Halloween here in the town of Winthrop. And as a parent, just want to say thank you to anybody who put up decorations or got into the spirit of Halloween this year. You really make it special for the kids. Those of you who give out candy and make a big deal over the kids' costumes, they get a kick out of that. And even if you weren't home and you put out a bowl of candy, you rock, okay? Just want to make sure everybody understands how much it's appreciated from a parent's perspective, those of you who really sort of embody that Halloween spirit, especially Tommy down at the corner of Dolphin Ave and Shirley Street. Tommy on the microphone. If you're in the beach area, make sure you swing by his house, okay?
Always got to see Tommy. But, you know, Eric, you know, one of the things that I was just thinking about, because we were talking earlier about school committee race and all of that, I'd like to give a shout out to the school committee chair, Brian Perrin, who has decided not to serve, you know, not to continue, and thank him for his years of service. I believe he has been on since 2010. So he, you know, that's almost 12 years he served as the school committee member, and he's been chair during what we would call a very chaotic time, and kept that committee working forward for the betterment of our kids. So thank you to Brian Perrin for the great work that he did as the school committee member.
Yes, thank you, Brian. Thank you to everybody who has served. I think there's a couple members from the town council who will also be stepping down, right? Peter Christopher, Nick LeConte. Thank you for your service.
Thank you for them too as well, for the work that they've done for our community.
We're starting to get some results in. Okay, as usual, we get precinct 4 first because that's the only precinct at that location, so we tend to get those results first. And you ready, John? Here we go. Our first results. This is for council president in precinct 4. 55% Jim Lettieri, 45% Phil Boncory. That's Precinct 4. The vote total is 192 for Jim Lettieri, 156 for Phil Boncory. So that is Precinct 4. So we have 6 precincts in town. Again, we're getting Precinct 4 in because that's the only precinct that votes at Connell Hall down on Golden Drive. So we'll be getting those other precincts in very shortly, but I just wanted to report the numbers as they are coming in. Precinct 4 is somewhat of a bellwether. This isn't a huge margin in terms of votes. 192 to 156 isn't, a wide gap by any means. Although traditionally, Precinct 4 is fairly representative of the town overall. So we'll see if that holds true tonight. But let me just do a little bit of math here. Just to warn everybody, I am a CPA, so I'm very terrible at math. So you've got to be careful here. So I'm just doing quick. Yeah, exactly. So it's very close. I mean, we only have one.
I would say it's too close to call.
I know. I feel like we're on CNN or something here. Again, we'll have.
We're on better. WCAT.
That's
even better.
It's even better. And this is how it goes, right? We're live. We're down here in the studios at 165 Winthrop Street, and we're giving you the results as we can, as they come in. I said earlier at the top of the show, we've got members of our WCT family that are at these different locations, and as soon as these results are posted, they're sending them on to us. So there's a 36-vote lead right now for Jim Lettieri.
I'm going to interrupt you. Do you have any school committee results from Precinct 4?
I'm glad you mentioned it. We will be getting those results soon. However, you've got 2 candidates running for council president, and you've got 7 for school committee. So it's just going to take us a little bit of time. So I appreciate everybody's patience. We probably can get the council president totals up quicker because, like I said, there's just the 2. We have 7 candidates that we have to report for school committee. But they're coming in right now, John, and
Okay.
I will report on that in just 1 second here. Again, for those of you who are tuning in, welcome to WCAT election night coverage. We have results starting to trickle in right now. Polls closed at 8 o'clock, and right now we have results from Precinct 4 so far. And we have Jim Lettieri at 192 votes to Phil Boncory at 156. That's percentage-wise, that's about 55% to 45%, but that's only a 36 vote margin. So again, there's not much you can really say right now with just 1 precinct in. I'm going to go through the school committee, John.
Okay, I'm ready.
And let me pull up those numbers right now. I've got some school committee votes for Precinct 4, okay? And this is in order of votes. 154 for Julie Berry, 150 for Jen Powell, 137 for Suzanne Leonard. Then at 94, Lainey Petrie, 88, Brianna Malloy, 79, Celeste Heinonen, 40, Ellen Galoris. Okay, so the top 3 right now, you have at 21% is Julie Berry. In second place at 20% is Jen Powell, and in third place at 18% is Suzanne Leonard, followed by Lainey Petrie, Brianna Malloy, Celeste Heinonen, and Ellen Galoris. Okay, again, that's with just 1 precinct in. That's just Precinct 4. We still have 5 more precincts to go. But those are the results that we have so far. Now, let me go down to trustees of the library. Okay, again, this is Precinct 4. In first place, Betty Peabody with 186 votes. That's 28%. Then we have in second place Marie Matarazzo with 163 votes. And that's 24%. And then in third place, Gillian Teixeira with 138 votes. Okay. I think we're getting some more council president
Okay.
results in. Okay, so those were
Precinct is
the
this for council president?
those were the top three for library trustees. We'll go back to that, but we've got some numbers coming in right now for council president. Precinct 2 just came in, John. Jim Lettieri,
yeah.
386. Phil Boncory,
How much?
208.
How much?
Jim Lettieri has 386. 386. That's 65% in precinct 2. Phil Boncory
Okay.
with 35% in precinct 2. That's 208. Precinct 5 just came in. Jim Lettieri, 401. Phil Boncory, 221. That's a 64% to 36%. Our totals, we have 3 precincts in right now, precincts 2, 4, and 5. Precincts 2, 4, and 5. The totals are Jim Lettieri at 979, Phil Boncory 585. That's 63% to 37%.
That amount is growing. That separation is growing from the 36 originally.
Yep, so that's a total right now for those 3 precincts of 1,564 votes. And again, the total is Jim Lettieri at 979, Phil Boncory 585. Okay, so those are our town council president results so far. Let me run through them one more time, and I'll move on to the other races. Precinct 2, for council president, Jim Lettieri 386, Phil Boncory 208. Precinct 4, Jim Lettieri 192, Phil Boncory 156. And in Precinct 5, Jim Lettieri 401, Phil Boncory 221. For a total of 979 for Jim Lettieri, 585 for Phil Boncory. That's 63 to 37%. And that's with 1,564 votes in. Now we're going to move down to school committee. We have 3 precincts now reporting for school committee. Let me go through precinct 2.
Okay?
All right. You have Julie Berry at 306 for precinct 2. Then you have at 283 Jen Powell, 234 for Suzanne Leonard, then 193 for Celeste Heinonen. Then we have 169 for Lane Petrie. Then we have 114 for Brianna Malloy and 93 for Ellen Galoris. Precinct 5 just came in, and we have 334 for Jen Powell, 322 for Julie Barry.
322?
Yes. And then in third place for Precinct 5 is Suzanne Leonard at 254 votes, followed by Lane Petrie at 206, 190 for Celeste Heinonen, then 90 for Ellen Galoris, and 87 for Brianna Malloy. So let me give you the totals. We've got 3 precincts in, precincts 2, 4, and 5. The results are for school committee in first place with 21.6%, Julie Berry. Okay, that's 782 votes so far. In second place, Jen Powell with 21.2% with 767 votes.
767?
Yes. And then
That's a real close right
and
there.
then in third place, right, it's the top 3. In third place, it is Suzanne Leonard with 17.3%, 626 votes, followed by Lane Petrie with 12.9%. She's at 469. Close behind with 462 is Celeste Heinonen, which represents 12.8%, followed by Brianna Malloy with 8% at 289, and at 6.2% is Ellen Galoris with 223. So the top 3 right now for school committee, John, in first place is Julie Berry, second place is Jen Powell, and in third place is Suzanne Leonard, with 3 precincts out of 6 reporting.
So, Eric, I just want to just, I'm a little emotional because Stoneham Public Schools just overwhelmingly supported.
Oh,
new school.
terrific. We're getting
So-
results in for Stoneham too. Congratulations, John.
Thank you, thank you.
That's wonderful. And I know as soon as we're done here, you're probably going to go celebrate in Stoneham.
Well, I'm gonna go congratulate the committee for the great work that they did here, so.
I've got some more
Anyway,
results
all right,
coming in.
So in these, but do you wanna move on to,
Let me run through Precinct 1 right now because I have those results in right now. Precinct 1. They just came in.
okay, great.
Jim Lettieri with 342 votes, Phil Boncory 206. So that's a 62% to 38% in Precinct 1 for Jim Lettieri. So we now have 4 out of 6 precincts reporting. For Council President, Jim Lettieri is at 63%, Phil Boncory is at 37%. 1,321 votes for Jim Lettieri, 791 for Phil Boncory, out of 2,112 votes. So that's where we are right now. Again, that's the Council President race. With 4 out of 6 precincts, Jim Lettieri is far ahead right now with 1,321 votes to 791 for Phil Boncory. Percentage-wise, it's 63% to 37%. I know that we're looking for Precinct 3's results. We don't have those yet. As soon as they come in, I will announce them.
And remember on Precinct 3, we have a council race there too.
Right. I did want to give you an update, though, on the school committee race, because Precinct 1 just announced, we just got those results in for Precinct 1. So for Precinct 1, school committee, first place, Julie Berry, 283 votes. That's 21.3%. In second place, Jen Powell, 266 votes, 20%. Third place is Celeste Heinonen with 15.2% at 202 votes. In fourth place, Suzanne Leonard with 194. That represents 14.6%. And then we go to Lane Petrie's at 11.6% with 154 votes. Then Brianna Malloy with 123 votes, 9.3%. And Ellen Galoris with 8%, 107 votes. So let me give you the tally right now for all of the 4 precincts that we have reported so far. 1, 2, 4, 5. This is the tally right now, John, for school committee with 4 out of 6 precincts reporting. You have in first place Julie Berry with 21.5%. Jen Powell, second place, 20.9%. And in third place, it's Suzanne Leonard at 16.6%. And then you'll have Celeste Heinonen at 13.4%. So that's in fourth place. In fifth place is Lane Petrie at 12.6%. And then in sixth place is Brianna Malloy with 8.3%. And in seventh place, Ellen Galoris at 6.7%. All right, that's with 4 out of 6 precincts reporting.
So, and we still have 2 more precincts coming in. We've got 3 and 6 that will be coming in, so.
Right, so right now you have...
It's a pretty close race there coming up there, with, looks like on the between third and fourth.
Right, so it looks like Julie Berry and Jen Powell are comfortably in. I think that's safe to say that those 2 will be reelected. And right now, it's that third spot.
The probability of being reelected looks pretty good for them
Yes.
right now. Julie Berry and Jennifer Powell.
Exactly. And then right now, like you said, John, right now the battle is for that final spot, that third place. And it's pretty much a three-way race between Suzanne Leonard, Celeste Heinonen, and Lane Petrie. So we still have 2 more precincts to come in.
precinct 3 and precinct 6 are gonna be big on that.
Exactly.
Do we have a chance to have any, library?
Yep.
Or are we still?
I've got those same 4 precincts in 1, 2, 4, and 6. I'm sorry, 1, 2, 4, and 5. Here are the totals right now. In first place for library trustee, we have, I'm sorry, we're just updating them right now. Give me 1 second. In first place for the library trustees is Gillian Teixeira with 25.5%. In second place, Betty Peabody with 24.2%. And then in third place is Marie Matarazzo with 21.1%. So those are our top 3. Followed closely
For those 4 precincts.
for those 4 precincts. Followed closely by Laura Christopher at 17.9%. So she's very close there. And then, so again, we're looking at the top 3 for library trustee. And Alyssa True is in 5th place currently with 11.4%. So again, with 4 out of 6 precincts, that is those are the results for the library trustees. And so we're now waiting on precincts 3 and 6. We're waiting on precincts 3 and 6. But to recap, we have 4 out of our 6 precincts reporting in. And for town council president, you have Jim Lettieri with a vote total of 1,321. That is 62.6% to 791 votes for Phil Boncory, which represents 37.5%. So that's what we're looking at for council president. Just very quickly, John, for precinct, I'm sorry, I'm just going through here now, looking to see if we have any new results in just yet. Not yet. We're still waiting on precincts 3 and 6. All right, your thoughts, John?
Well, I mean, first of all, I can see that the community, in regards to the school committee, they've re-elected, for the most part, 2 people that have served. And I think that, the community has realized these people have gone through the experience. They want to continue that experience as they've moved on. And right now we're seeing a pretty good battle for that 3rd slot. So I think we're going to find out on precincts 3 and 6 where we're at on that. In regards to the town council president, it seems to me right now that Mr. Lettieri has built up a pretty solid lead that I think it's going to be, this is just my thoughts. I'm not sure we don't know how many people voted in precinct 6 or precinct 3, but it's going to be pretty tough to overcome the deficit right now for Mr. Boncory. So I think that we may be seeing a new elected president of the town council. That's what I'm seeing currently from the results that you've showed us in the 4. And then, of course, in the library, I think you're seeing, are they all, there's 2 of them that are incumbents right now that are in the lead?
Right now, for trustees.
Gillian and Betty are both incumbents.
Correct.
Right. And then you have Ms. Matarazzo that is right there. So it looks like that 3rd and 4th slot for that 3rd spot is
it's very close between Laura Christopher and Marie Matarazzo for that 3rd and final spot for trustees of public library. Once we have the results from precincts 3 and 6, that'll determine that.
While we're waiting for the other 2, do you have Mr. Fusillo's results from precinct 1?
Let's take a look. We don't have those in just yet. like I said,
Okay, no problem.
like I mentioned
We're
earlier,
giving you the races that are
right,
happening right now. We'll get those later.
we will. Okay, we do have, those just came in for Richard Fusillo. He had 411 votes.
You know?
So as you mentioned, he was unopposed, so
And
congratulations.
and thank you, Richard, for stepping up, because we had, also for Mr. Aiello, no candidates had come forward. These two candidates have come forward. I know they're unopposed, but thank you for stepping up, and it'll be exciting for Richard to now be a member of the town council.
On that note, John, I also want to say thank you to everyone who put their name on the ballot and ran a campaign. It takes a lot of effort, a lot of energy, a lot of time, and your willingness to serve is appreciated. Thank you. Thank you for stepping up. Thank you for running. And no matter what the results are, I think it's always great to see such a wonderful exchange of ideas in a campaign. So win or lose, I think that just by the nature of expressing differing viewpoints, throwing out different suggestions, different ideas on how to accomplish. We're all here to try to move Winthrop forward and to make Winthrop even better. And we all just might have different ideas and paths to take. And I think it's so good that we have people willing to serve in mostly volunteer positions. And town council gets a very small stipend. Nobody's doing it for the money by any means.
And school committee gets no stipend.
Exactly. So you've got to really give credit to everyone who ran for office, and they deserve to be commended for putting in that effort. And like I said, the willingness to serve is appreciated. So thank you. Thank you so much to all of the candidates tonight.
So any results coming in yet from precinct 3 or 6?
Not yet.
I'm like the people at home, because I can't see anything. So I'm like them at home. I want to know, where are we at? Do we have some of those results?
You'll be the first to know. It's not like I have them and I'm just not sharing them with you, John, or anybody. Look, we're waiting. And I know everybody's anxious because that those precincts represent a third of our votes, right? We've got 6 precincts in Winthrop, and we're still waiting on 2 of them. Right now, it's looking like that, like you had mentioned earlier, John. Jim Lettieri has built up a sizable lead right now with the 4 out of the 6 precincts reporting. He is at 62.6%. Phil Boncory is at 37.5%. The school committee, as you just mentioned earlier, looks like Julie Berry will be reelected at the top of the ticket with 21.5%, followed by Jennifer Powell with 20.9%.
And what's interesting on that, Eric, is that those 2 are definitely look like they're going to be reelected. But it's still not decided who tops it yet, because you still have, like you said, they're so close in that to see who is going to come out as
first
the 1
and
or
second.
2.
Yeah, and then there's still in third place. That final spot that's being elected tonight is still very close. Right now, you have Suzanne Leonard with 16.6%, followed by Celeste Heinonen with 13.4%, followed by Lane Petrie at 12.6%. Right. So you really only have a few hundred votes separating third place from fifth place right now. So that could easily swing. That could swing.
Right. We're sitting here at the cliffhanger, and we're trying to stretch for precincts 3 and precinct 6. And if those don't come on soon, I'm going to have to let you stretch all alone, because my phone is going crazy, and
right.
I need to go and be with the community and thank them for the great work that they've done here in Stoneham.
All right, I'll let you go in a minute, just to let you know, it's looking like, we have, like, for the trustees of the library, we know who the top 2 are, and it's the third place we're still not sure of. The top 2 would be Gillian Teixeira and Betty Peabody, and for third place, it's basically between Marie Matarazzo and Laura Christopher. Okay, so I'm just giving you a quick summary here. And then for school committee, we know who the top 2 are: Julie Berry, Jennifer Powell, and it's a race between Suzanne Leonard, Celeste Hainanen, and Lane Petrie for that third spot. Again, anything can happen, right? You still have 2 precincts out of 6 that are outstanding, but, oh, we just got precinct 3 in, John. And we just got precinct 6 in.
All right, so we can, let's hear what you got.
It is official. Jim Lettieri has just been elected as our next town council president. Congratulations to Mr. Lettieri.
Congratulations. Lettieri.
With 62% of the vote, Jim Lettieri has been elected as town council president for Winthrop with 1,807 votes cast. That is including all 6 precincts. Phil Boncory received 1,108 votes, representing 38% of the vote. And I should also say as well, thank you, Mr. Boncory, for all your years of service on the town council, well, the last 2 as council president, but in addition to your service on town government, for your many years of service outside of town government as well.
Yeah, I'd like to give a shout out to Phil Boncory. I mean, Phil was one of those individuals, as you said earlier. You know, it's unfortunate that someone has to lose. Both of them have committed so much into our town, but Phil Boncory has done a great job of moving Winthrop forward, and we thank him for his service.
Well said, John, and congratulations to Jim Lettieri, our new town council president.
Congratulations to Mr. Lettieri.
And I know a lot of people have been waiting for precinct 3 results for the council over there for precinct 3. And those are coming in right now. I'll get to them in just a second. But let me give you the total votes for school committee. Now that we have all 6 precincts, I'm just going to give you the totals. All right?
Okay.
In first place, Julie Berry with 21.5%. In second place, Jennifer Powell with 20.2%. And in third place, Suzanne Leonard with 16.7%. Those 3 have been elected to the Winthrop School Committee tonight. And I'll just give you the rest of those results. In fourth place with 13.8%, Celeste Hainanen. In fifth place with 12.6%, Lane Petrie. And then in sixth place with 8.8%, Brianna Malloy. And in seventh place, Ellen Galoris with 6.5%. So congratulations to Julie Berry, Jennifer Powell, and Suzanne Leonard on being elected to the school committee.
Congratulations.
And then I'm going to jump to the library trustees. And we know,
Eric, I'm going to exit out, if that's okay.
All right.
Thank you all for allowing me to participate tonight. I want to congratulate those who have been elected, and I also want to thank those who ran. So thank you all, and have a great night.
Okay, thanks, John. Take care. And now we're going to give you the results from Precinct 3 for Town Councillor. Congratulations to Hannah Belcher, who has been elected as the Town Councillor from Precinct 3 with 235 votes. In second place, we had Jeremy Scott Mahoney Wright with 128 votes. And in third place, Amy Paskar with 63 votes. That is the tally from Precinct 3 for Town Council. Again, congratulations to Hannah Belcher, who has been elected to the council representing Precinct 3. Again, Hannah Belcher with 223 votes, followed by Scott Mahoney Wright with 128 votes, and then Amy Paskar with 63. We are going to give you the final results for school committee. This is all precincts reporting. In first place, Julie Berry. Second place, Jennifer Powell. Third place, Suzanne Leonard. Congratulations. Now to the library trustees. We have all 6 precincts in, and here are the results. In first place, with 25.6%, Gillian Teixeira. In second place, with 24%, Betty Peabody. And in third place with 20.7%, Marie Matarazzo. Followed by Laura Christopher with 17.2%, and then Alyssa True with 12.4%. So congratulations to Gillian Teixeira, to Betty Peabody, and Marie Matarazzo on being voted in to the Library Board of Trustees. Once again, Richard Fusillo was elected to Town Council Precinct 1 with 411 votes. Precinct 3, Hannah Belcher with 235 votes, representing 55.2%, followed by Scott Mahoney Wright with 128 votes, representing 30.1%, and then Amy Paskar with 63 votes, 14.8% for Precinct 3. We'll have the vote totals for Joseph Aiello for Precinct 5 shortly, but he was running unopposed, so he has been elected to the Town Council representing Precinct 5 this evening. Same thing with Peter Gill. He has also been re-elected to the Housing Authority. He was also running unopposed this evening. Councillor Rob DeMarco for Councillor at Large has also been re-elected. He was also unopposed this evening. And once again, for those of you who are just tuning in, next year we will have a new Town Council President, as Jim Lettieri has won the election as Town Council President with 62% of the vote to Phil Boncory with 38% of the vote. Out of 2,915 votes cast, Jim Lettieri received 1,807. Phil Boncory received 1,108 votes. So congratulations, Jim Lettieri, and thank you once again to our outgoing Council President, Phil Boncory, for your many years of service and dedication to our community. And now we have the results for Precinct 5. So once again, Joseph Aiello was running unopposed, but he received 456 votes this evening and will be representing Precinct 5 in the Winthrop Town Council. So that gives you the results for this evening's election. I'm just going to do one final recap, and then we're going to wrap it up. I do want to say thank you to everyone who voted. I want to thank all of the candidates who ran a very positive, issue-oriented campaign. I also want to thank, on behalf of viewers and residents of Winthrop, I want to thank WCAT for all of their efforts this campaign season. They did an excellent job, I believe, in providing a platform for candidates to get their message out there at no cost. That's one of the really cool things about having a station like WCAT, is you have this opportunity to let people know why you're running. You get to explain to voters your platform, and you don't have to have a lot of money to do so. It's free of charge to come on the airwaves here, or I shouldn't say necessarily airwaves, but on cable, and to relay your message. And I think it's wonderful that we have this resource here in town for people to have an opportunity to express their points of view. I also want to say thank you to the Winthrop Transcript, because they also are very good about allowing candidates to get their message out as well by running announcements free of charge. So it's nice to see there are opportunities for candidates to let their ideas and to have their platform be shared with such outlets like WCAT and the Transcript. And now, of course, you have social media, which makes it a little easier too, to try to spread your message. So let's go through this ballot one last time, and we'll wrap it up for tonight. At the top, we have our Town Council President. This is the total for all 6 precincts. You have Jim Lettieri with 62% of the vote, 1,807 votes, to Phil Boncory with 38%, 1,108. For the school committee, with all 6 precincts reporting. In first place, Julie Berry, with 21.5% of the vote, with 1,461 votes. In second place, Jennifer Powell, 20.2%, 1,370 votes. And in third place, Suzanne Leonard, 16.7%, 1,134 votes. Followed by Celeste Heinonen with 13.8%, 938 votes. Then Lane Petrie with 12.6%, 853 votes. Then Brianna Malloy with 598 votes, that's 8.8%. And then Ellen Goloris with 443 votes, or 6.5%. So the 3 top vote getters are elected to the school committee, and that is Julie Berry, Jennifer Powell, and Suzanne Leonard. Congratulations. Again, the Housing Authority, Peter Gill is re-elected. He is unopposed. The trustees of the library, the top 3 vote getters, have been elected with 25.6% of the votes, Gillian Teixeira. Second place, Betty Peabody with 24% of the votes, 1,478. And in third place, Marie Matarazzo with 20.7% of the vote, 1,274 votes. Followed by Laura Christopher with 17.2% of the votes, that's 1,059 votes. And finally, Alyssa True with 765 votes, 12.4%. So the top 3 were elected to the trustees of the library, in that, again, Gillian Teixeira, Betty Peabody, and Marie Matarazzo. Congratulations. Precinct 1, Richard Fusillo received 411 votes. He was elected unopposed. Precinct 3, that was a 3-way race. The winner, Hannah Belcher, with 55.2% of the vote. She received 235 votes, followed by Scott Mahoney Wright with 128 votes, 30.1%. And in third place, Amy Paskar with 63 votes, or 14.8%. So congratulations to Hannah Belcher. And in Precinct 5, Joseph Aiello received 456 votes unopposed, so he has also been elected to the Town Council representing Precinct 5. So once again, thank you to all of our wonderful candidates for running, for their willingness to serve. I want to thank you, the viewers, for tuning in this evening, for your support of WCAT. And with that, I'm going to wish you all a very good night. On behalf of everyone here at WCAT, thank you for your support, thank you for watching, and have a great night.